Hello everyone, welcome to JD's Guidance. Today we are going to discuss something more about cost. We have seen in our previous video about cost, and we have also seen its various. We have also seen the various concepts of cost. Okay, and let me just recap. In my last video relating to cost, we have seen what is cost. We have seen what are the different concepts of cost, like how do we classify the cost on the basis of its elements. We have seen material cost, labor cost, overhead. We have seen how cost can be classified on the basis of the time or on the basis of variability. We have fixed cost and variable cost, and also semi-variable cost. We have also seen how we classify the cost on the basis of normality, whether it is a normal cost or abnormal cost. We have also seen the classification of cost on the basis of controllability. We have seen we have controllable cost, uncontrollable cost. We have also seen the classification of cost on the basis of identifiability, direct cost and indirect cost. And we have also seen the classification of cost based on managerial utility. Accordingly, we have seen what is marginal cost, what is differential cost, what is implicit cost, what is replacement cost, what is fixed. We have also seen what is standard cost, what is budgeted cost, what is opportunity cost. So we have seen the different concepts of cost, and I think this much sets the ground for us to go further and understand the several other concepts of cost. Okay, before that, let us understand something called cost function. Something called cost function. So remember, in economics, our objective is to minimize the cost. Our objective is to minimize the cost. We want to minimize the cost because we want to attain our goal of maximizing the profit. Okay. Now, what is cost function? Cost function is the relationship between the cost and the output. Okay. It sets the relationship between the cost output relationship. Okay, so this technical relationship between the cost and output is known as cost function. Okay, it is known as cost function. Now you know that the cost is something which, what is the cost depends on what are the different elements. We have material, okay, we have labor, okay. These are the two basic type of elements of cost. But from now onwards, we are going to take two factors of production. One is called capital. K represents capital, and we will say labor. L represents labor. Okay, so cost means cost of capital and cost of labor. From now onwards, we will concentrate or shift all our attention on two factors, that is capital and labor, and their price. Okay, what is the price of capital means? I have used capital. Capital means, suppose I have taken money for my business, that is my capital. For this, I have to pay something in return, and we call it I, which is nothing but the interest. So, cost of capital is interest, and when I have used labor, I have to pay labor something, and that is nothing but W, which means wages. I have to pay the wages. So, if I have used, if my capital is 5 and labor is 2, and suppose I have, if the rate of interest is 2 and rupees 2 and the labor cost is 1, so I have used 10, 5 into 2 and 2 into 1, 2, that means 12 is my cost. Okay. Now, so I have told you that cost function is nothing but it is the cost output relationship. It is the relationship between the cost and the output. Okay. So what is cost? I have dissected. Cost is nothing but it is the firm's factors and its factor price. What are the factors? It is the labor and capital, and what are its price? It is the interest and the wages. Okay, now we have understood this. Now one question arises that as a manufacturer, as a producer, I want to use some capital, I want to use some labor, and with capital and labor I am going to produce some output. Okay, now I want to do this in such a way, I want to use this capital and labor and produce the output in such a way that my cost is minimal, that I do the production of output with the use of these factors of production with a minimum cost. Okay, I repeat again, I have told you what is cost function. It is nothing but cost and output relationship. And I have told you cost, when I say there are two elements of cost, capital and labor. These are the two factors. Okay, and their prices are interest and wages. For capital we pay interest, and for labor we pay wages. Now I have given an example and I have shown you that 12 is my cost. Now using these factors I am producing output. As a producer, I want to use these factors of production in such a manner that I produce the output in the most cost effective manner. Cost effective means with the minimal cost. So I am interested to know that how much labor, how much capital, okay, will be my optimal, means which one will be the best for me, or which scale or which combination will be best for me to operate, so that I get the output with the minimal production, the minimal cost. To answer this concept, to answer this question, we have a concept in economics. We call it producer's equilibrium. We call producer's equilibrium. So we have this concept of producer's equilibrium. So what is this producer's equilibrium? Producer's equilibrium is what we will see later, but for time being you try to know that producer will be at equilibrium when he is able to produce the output at the minimal cost. The minimal cost, he is able to produce the optimal output. He is able to produce the output with the minimal cost, and that is possible when the producer has reached a point, when he is at a point which is called producer's equilibrium. He is at equilibrium. For understanding when will a producer reach the equilibrium, we have to understand certain more things, some more things. Okay, so I hope the discussion is clear till this point. Okay, that we have a cost, we know what is cost function, cost output relationship. What is cost? We are considering capital and labor, and we want to use the cost in the minimal way but produce the output. Okay, we don't want to change the, we want to produce the output with a smaller and smaller amount of cost. Okay, and when we are successfully doing this, we are at the state of equilibrium, which is best for me. This is the best for me, best position for me. In order to know the producer's equilibrium, we have to know two things. One is iso-quant, and another is known as iso-cost. These two concepts will help you identify the point of producer's equilibrium. Okay, so let us begin our discussion with iso-quant. We will first discuss about iso-quant, and then in my next video we will discuss about iso-cost, and in the next we will see the equilibrium, consumer or producer's equilibrium. Okay, so let us dedicate this video discussing about iso-quant. We will dedicate this video in discussing iso-quant. Let's start. Now let's see what is iso-quant. So iso and quant, these are the two words. What is iso? This is a single word, it is same word, but I am splitting up into two parts, iso and quant. Let's understand what is the meaning of iso. Iso means same. And what is quant? Quant means quantity. Quant means quantity. Now knowing this, let me show you something. Okay. Suppose I have labor and I have capital. Okay. And suppose, okay, I'll write here capital and here I am writing labor. Okay. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Combinations. These are the combinations. Combinations. Capital, labor. Okay. So I have used here 10. I have used here 7. Then I have used here say 5. And then I have used here say 4. Okay. Now this is my combination A. This is my combination B. This is my combination C. And this is my combination D. And I'll tell you what it is all about. And output is equals to 100 units. Now, as a producer, I want to produce 100 units. I am a producer. I am interested to produce 100 units. Okay. For producing 100 units, I need capital and labor. Okay. Now, I have combination A where I am using 10 capital and 1 labor. Capital means, for our discussion, you understand capital means machine. For the discussion, for the purpose of the discussion, you assume capital to be equipment, to be machines. Okay, machine. So I am using 10 capital and 1 labor. Okay. In the second combination, I am reducing the amount of capital 7 and I am increasing 1 labor. In the third combination, I am increasing 1 more labor and reducing the capital. I am in the fourth combination increasing 1 more labor but reducing some more capital. So this gives me different combinations of inputs, okay, which can produce the same output. If you choose this also, it is going to produce 100. If you use this also, it will produce 100. If you produce this also, it will produce 100 units. If you produce this also, this is 100 units. Okay. Now that means whether you use this combination, this combination, this combination, this combination, you are indifferent because it gives you 100 units only. Okay. There is no change. 100 units. You can see that this 10 combination, 7 combination, they are morely capital intensive. You are using more capital and less labor. But here onwards you can say it is labor intensive because you are moving towards more labor, not more, but somehow you are shifting from more capital to more labor. You are shifting from more capital to more labor. In other words, you are substituting labor for capital. Okay, you are using more capital, more labor for capital. Okay, now this means what? These combinations can produce 100 units. Whether you go for combination this or this, it can produce 100 units. Okay, the producer is indifferent. Producer does not have any choice. He cannot make a choice because all these gives him the same amount of output. So our output is equals to 100. If I graphically show you the same thing, if I show you graphically, suppose this is your capital K and this is your labor L. Okay, the same thing I am showing you graphically, and I am having combination. Suppose here I have 10, 7, 5, 4 this way. So you have 4, say, sorry, not 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, like this. Now you see, this will look like this. If you plot the graph, if you plot these combinations, it will look like this. Okay. So let me make it bit more clearer. So if you you have the different combinations of labor here, and you have different quantities of labor here and number of labor, and this is different quantities of capital. And if you plot it, the graph looks like this. Roughly, I am doing it roughly. Okay. Now you see one thing. This curve is downward sloping. Why it is downward sloping? You see one thing, that you please try to notice one thing, that it is downward sloping. This is your capital and this is your labor. If you are here, if you are at point A, suppose this is combination A, you are using this much amount of capital and this much amount of labor. If you go here, you are using lesser amount of capital and more amount of labor. This is combination B, for example. Then you move on to combination C, and then you move on to combination, you can move on to combination D, like that. Okay, you can move on to combination D. So if you can touch it here, the curve is not getting touched here, it should touch here. So you have another combination D. Okay, so you have another combination here D. Okay, what does this mean? This means that if you switch from combination A to combination B, what is happening here? You are reducing capital and increasing labor. Please try to see my fingers, what I am showing you. A to B means A requires this much amount of capital, but combination B requires this much amount of capital. Means you are sacrificing this much amount of capital to gain this much amount of labor, because in combination B your labor is more than your capital. Okay, so you see your labor is increasing. Earlier it was this much, now it has become, earlier it was this much, now it has become this much. Again from B to C if you shift, again there is, see, earlier you reduced this much amount of capital. Now from here to here you have reduced this much amount of capital to increase this much amount of labor. Again from C to D you have reduced this much amount of capital and have increased this much amount of labor. Okay, did you understand what I am showing? I am showing you that you have reduced this much K, means capital, to gain this much B. Then you have reduced this much K to gain this much B. Then you have reduced this much K to gain this much, B. So what it shows is that, that you are sacrificing one and gaining other. Sacrificing one and gaining other. Sacrificing one and gaining other. Okay. So here also the same thing applies. You are sacrificing 3 and gaining 1 extra. Here you are sacrificing 2 and gaining 1 extra. Okay. Here you are sacrificing 1 and gaining 1 extra. So this rate by which you are sacrificing 1 to gain 1 extra unit of labor is known as marginal rate of substitution. This is known as marginal rate of technical substitution of labor for capital. Okay, so this is one. Okay, so you are substituting one for the other. Okay, so now one thing you should see, that this line was bigger here, this line has become bit small here, and this line has become much smaller here. Why it is like this? Here you have sacrificed more, 3, then you have sacrificed just 2, and at the last you have sacrificed just 1. That means what, you know? That means this rate of substitution means how much you shift capital to labor, means how much you sacrifice capital and gain labor. The rate at which you are sacrificing this and gaining this goes on diminishing, means it goes on decreasing. Earlier see, it was 3:1, then it became 2:1, then it became 1:1. So the rate has reduced. Earlier 3 capital was sacrificed for 1, then 2 capital was sacrificed for 1 labor, and lastly 1 capital was sacrificed for 1 labor. That means the rate of substitution reduces. Okay, and that is why you will see this amount of substitution is more, this amount is bit less, and this one will be much lesser. So that means, okay, so this curve what I said is known as isoquant. We represent it by IQ. What is isoquant? Isoquant is a curve which represents different combinations of factors, labor and capital, which can produce the same output, okay, which has the potentiality to produce the same output. So if you are at point A also, your output will be 100. If you are at B also, your output will be 100. If you are at C also, your output will be 100. At D also, your output will be 100. But what is different is the combination changes. Sometimes you are using more labor, sometimes you are using less labor. Okay, but which combination is best, that we will see later. Which combination will give you the best outcome, means you are getting that equilibrium what I mentioned, producer's equilibrium, that we will see later. But now for time being, try to understand what is isoquant. Isoquant means equal or same quantity. What is this equal and same quantity? It is the combination of the factors labor and capital, the different combinations, which the combinations are different but which can produce the same output. Okay, if you show it graphically, it is a curve. Okay, it is downward sloping curve. Why it is downward sloping? Because in order to gain one, you have to sacrifice other. In order to gain one, you have to reduce the other. So that is why it is downward sloping. And since this is downward sloping, so and it shows that you are sacrificing this to gain labor. You are sacrificing more of capital, you are sacrificing initially more capital and gaining one extra labor, but slowly the rate at which you are sacrificing capital goes down and you are increasing the same one labor. Okay, so this is known as isoquant. So any point at the isoquant has the capacity to produce the same output, but each points in the isoquant represent different combinations of the factors labor and capital. I have shown you 4 combinations, but in fact there are multiple combinations. You can have an n number of combinations in this curve. Okay, now the question is why it is like this, that, so I think it is clear. So now the question is why it is like this, that initially you are sacrificing 3 and then 2 and then 1. Why it is like this? Why the rate at which the marginal rate of substitution, MRTS, marginal rate of technical, so why we are calling it technical? Because it is the substitution of technology of capital to labor. Technology, we have 2 technology of production, capital intensive technology and labor intensive technology, and therefore this technical substitution means you are substituting capital for labor. Okay, now coming here, I want to show you this rate is reducing. This means what, earlier my 3 capital is equal to 1 labor because they are producing 100 units, means your 3 1, then your 2 becomes equal to 1, then your 1 becomes equal to 1. So as you substitute more capital, okay, and you increase more labor, the productivity of the labor decreases because you are having more labor. So the productivity of the labor decreases, but the productivity of the capital increases. So do not worry for this. What I want to say is that when the curve is like this, here you have capital and here you have labor. So as you reduce the capital and increase the labor, A, B and C, at this point you have more of capital, okay, K1, and this is L1. At this point you have lesser amount of capital and you have more amount of labor. At K3 you have the lowest amount of capital and you have the highest amount of labor. So at this point you see you are having more labor, and at L1 you are having lowest number of labor. So productivity will be less here, productivity will be high here. Why? Productivity means what? Productivity is equal to quantity produced by the number of factors. Number of, here you say labor. So I am producing 100 units by using how many? 5 labors. I am increasing the number of labors ultimately to 5. But initially I was using only 1 labor. So this was the last case, case L means the last case. In the first case I was using 100 by 1. I was using only 1 labor. It is case 1. So in this case my productivity is 20, but in this case my productivity is 100. So productivity is highest here, but as you increase more labor, the productivity goes down. Okay, and that time your 1 labor is equal to 1 capital only. So here your 3 labors were equal to 1 capital, then 2 labors became equal to 1 capital, but here now it becomes the same. Okay, so that is okay, that is important. But what is isoquant? Did you understand? Isoquant is a curve which shows the different combinations of the factors capital and labor which can produce the same output, which has the capacity to produce same output. So very quickly let us revise what we have seen so far. So very quickly we will revise what we have seen regarding isoquant. So first thing what we have seen is that what is cost function, and I told you cost function is nothing but it is the cost output relationship. Here I said cost means you are taking capital and labor. For capital you pay interest and for labor you pay wages. You are trying to get the best combination of this cost which can produce the output. For that you have something called production equilibrium, producers equilibrium. How to derive the producers equilibrium? We will see it later, but for that we have to understand the concept of isoquant. What is isoquant? Isoquant is the combinations of 2 factors, labor and capital, which can produce the same output. Okay, the combinations which can produce the same output is known as isoquant. So if you graphically show an isoquant, you will see it looks like this. Here is the capital, here is the labor. You find that you are substituting capital for labor. You are reducing capital and increasing labor. Reducing capital, increasing labor. Okay? And that is why your curve is a downward sloping curve. And you see the rate of substitution. This rate by which you are changing this and increasing this is called marginal rate of technical substitution of labor for capital. And this rate is actually reducing. So earlier you have sacrificed 3 capital for 1 labor, then you have sacrificed 2 capital for 1 labor, and finally you have sacrificed 1 capital for 1 labor. So till this much I hope it is clear. Now in my next video I am going to discuss with you the properties of isoquant. Once we discuss the properties of isoquant, we will discuss the slope of isoquant, and then we will discuss about isoquant. This clarification will be done. Then we will go to the price line, and then we will discuss what is producers equilibrium. Thank you for watching. Please press the like button, please share, and please do press the bell icon for the notification of new videos, and please do subscribe my channel, so it will help me and it will also motivate me. Thank you.